we'd like to sincerely thank our Patreon supporters.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Kagan and I are standing in our driveway, and we've got something really exciting. Some viewers of the channel offered us up some koi for our pond. You know, koi aren't gonna be any food value for the monitors or anything like that. They're strictly ornamental. This is a self-contained body of water, so they won't mix with anything else. And as you know, we already have 3 koi in there. I think we have just under 20 koi in a cooler with an aerator. Hagen is cutting the aerators off. We zip tied them onto the strapping.
And how long was our drive today?
Oh, I think we left the house at 6 o'clock. We went and visited another friend down there. We had to sex a black throat monitor for a buddy of ours, and then we drove to the house, and it was a 3-hour drive back. A very nervous 3-hour drive because we filled these all the way up. We have the aeration on all of them. The concern is, one, getting hot and temperature, but this last cooler, you know, we have a glove stuck in it so the aerator could wasn't pinched when it was strapped down, but it was on the back of the trailer and it got the most bounce. And at one point in our drive, I think 3rd stop, it was about half full of water. And these are full-grown giant koi that are in here, and they, woof, I mean, we had this filled up when we did stop. What we're gonna do, guys, is probably a snapshot, fish by fish, try and show you the koi and then release them. So I'm gonna stop filming, and what I will do is a picture so you guys could see every one of them. All right, so we've got them all in the water. There were some stunning koi in that group. And what we noticed when we were picking them out in the water, because they still had more there, and they're trying to get them all into good homes. And we just weren't able to take more. We honestly would have given them all this pond. The ones with the large scales, where they have the regular size scales and then some of those giant scales, were just beautiful. Even if they were all one color and they had that, it was just really stunning. And some of them have those scales on the back. Most of them were on the side or belly, that you'll probably only really get to appreciate through those pictures, because when they're swimming by, you may not notice that or see that so much again, unless you kept them in a very clear, shallow koi pond. Now, most of them are kind of hanging out here in this shallow water. I mean, hopefully you guys can see that. But they came out of a very shallow koi pond. Obviously, there's not, I don't know, I didn't keep count. Did you guys keep count? How many? Obviously, I'll see the pictures and be able to count later. I think it's like 18 fish in that neighborhood. There's not 18 fish sitting here, but a majority of them, at least 8 or so, are sitting right here in this opening. They may feel safe. And Kagan also brought up a good point, that the water in this pond is cooler than the water they came out of. The shallower water is probably warmer from today than the deeper water. So maybe they are kind of hanging out in this area for the time being. Pete is watching them. Are you gonna stop watching them when I put the camera on you, Pete? That they're probably just getting acclimated to the temperature and slowly moseying off. It almost looks like that one's kind of disappearing. Oh, no, just under the weed mat. They're just all kind of around here. It's gonna be a cool night. So we're gonna check on the reptiles in a little bit. I mean, we may put some dry shoes on and go check on the animals, empty the rest of the water from those tanks, and just keep walking back over here and checking on them. And then obviously tonight, when we do our final walkthrough, we'll check on them again. Now, I think also for this video, what would be really cool is, I think these guys are gonna add health to the pond. The koi that are already in here do not come to any feedings. That means that they are cleaning and eating detritus, algae, and stuff like that in the pond. So they're only helping because we have an abundance of those things in the pond. So I think they will help. We've got the aeration. The bioload's not going to be an issue. Neighbors and the old owners said that this pond's like 25 feet deep in the deepest point. So it's a lot of water. And you know, if we need to start adding the aeration on for a couple more hours, I think we're at 5-6 hours a day and we haven't changed it from there. We can always do that. But since we're doing stuff in this video that's gonna improve this property and the health of the pond and the health of the property, and for the animals, why not put the fruit trees in the ground tomorrow? That would be really cool. We'll show you all the different fruit trees that we picked up at that exotic fruit tree expo that went on the very same day as the Scales Expo. Fruit trees on the property will not only be food for us, but when a large mango tree is producing fruit, there's only so much you can eat and so much you can freeze. A large tree will produce hundreds of pounds of fruit, and we'll be able to feed the animals that can eat that. Obviously we'll know what we can feed to what animals, but I mean, if we have papaya, avocado, mango, lychee, star fruit, let's name them as we put them in the ground. We've got so many different things. It's only gonna make life better for us and the animals. So really cool. We're excited about this, and it would be cool to feed the fish tomorrow and see some of the koi swimming amongst the fish. All right, like we said, guys, they are slowly making it to the edge of the weeds and wandering off. So this is just a little bit later. You're starting to see some individuals wandering off. There was already a trio of white ones that worked the shoreline and went that way, and Kagan found a pair that went off that way. So I would love to see our koi find these koi and just be surprised, because you know, they're so used to just seeing 3 of them. What if it's 3 boys or 3 girls and they're like, meh. And then all of a sudden there's all these new individuals in their pond. And so cool. And so that's something koi do. They do a little flip to the surface. I would also love to know what that means. We watch our koi blast up from the depths, and they do this little flip on the surface and then disappear down. Oh, they are taking off.
Energized.
They probably haven't had this much space. Wait, now I'm gonna say that. They came from an absolute beautiful place. Banana plants, tropical trees over their pond. Their area was a labor of love. It was very, very special. They came from a very special place, from some very special people, and we are so excited. And I cannot tell you how stressed we were when that ice chest, the 3rd container back, there's one flipping, started losing water during the drive, just splashing out. We were a nervous wreck driving down the road. There's a trio of them. I hope you guys can see that. Swimming in a group. I imagine when you get into water that's that deep and you're used to so much shallower water, another individual there on its own, you probably want to hang out with your buddy. Yeah, I could tell you actually a great story. I was doing a job in St. Croix, and they have a ledge. It's one of the deepest ledges, I think, in the world, or maybe it's on this side of the world. But you can free dive down on the reef, and maybe it's like 30-40 feet on the bottom, and it drops off to thousands of feet. And I free dove to the edge of that reef, and I swam out into the deep water. And I mean, I used to free dive and spearfish, and I'm used to sharks and all that stuff. It kind of took your breath away. It was a little scary. It was definitely on your mind what could be coming up from all of that deep water. Oh, Kagan's favorite, heading off. This is just beautiful.
This is really
sunset, beautiful koi on the pond.
I interrupted your story, sorry.
That's fine. That was pretty much the end of it. This white one right here by the surface. Now, are there still some individuals getting used to the water temperature, or have they all moved off?
I think there's one left.
One left.
Probably the last one we put in.
Yeah, there's always one. It'd be funny to see one of them eat, because they said how they love to eat the food, and we're like, well, in our pond, the koi won't touch food. I think there's so much food in the pond that they have no reason to swim up to the surface and eat the food.
A group of them all the way over there.
Oh yeah, swimming down the shoreline, a group of 3. 3 seems to be the number. All right, guys, it's the next morning. Kagan is throwing out the food. Try this again since the battery died. Kagan's feeding all the fish the next morning. And you guys aren't going to be able to see it because of the glare on the water, but there's a group of like 8 of them right over there. They may be swimming over. There is, Kagan called him Speckles.
Freckles.
Freckles. So that is one of our longtime residents from DK Tech, one of our viewers. He came around because he saw some of the other ones. They circled around the food, maybe 2 foot down, but did not come to the surface. Yeah, all the fish are eating. Maybe a little slower today. It was a little cool last night. I'll give you guys another shot when they're closer to the dock. So I don't know if you guys can see this behavior, but Speckles is actually eating. You can see him grabbing hold of that filamentous algae and ripping and tearing at it. Is he still doing it? Yeah, he's still doing it. A little bit. He was really doing it where we could see him. So he's eating that stuff, and that's what all these fish are going to do in here, is they're going to eat all that stuff we want to get rid of. And they're big fish. It's funny. Kagan counted in that group that we can hardly see. She counted 13 of the fish there. I haven't reviewed the footage to get the exact number, which I need to do before the end of this video. It's got to be close to 18. A while. I'm watching that one swim down, and just the depth. He just fired straight down. Yeah, they have so much depth to regulate their temperatures. They're actually enjoying that weed mat, using it. All right, guys, it's the afternoon, and I am over by the plants. I got sidetracked for a while because I had an issue with our Wi-Fi smart switches for our outdoor enclosures. Our first 40-degree night is tomorrow night, so I had to get that working today because we will have to use the upper heat mats for the first time on the hide boxes this season. We rarely used them last year, so I'm kind of curious what this winter is going to bring, but I did need to get that working before that happened. Now, Kagan was doing something else, so I loaded a bunch of the plants, and at the risk of her undoing everything I did, I put fruit trees around the yard where I thought they should go. And then she came out and we kind of discussed the placement, and we did make some changes. It's always good to have 2 minds thinking about where they should go, because one, fruit trees are not cheap, and it's a big time investment. If you put it in the wrong soil, wrong sunlight, wrong windage area of your property, you could just waste that tree. It could live, but almost do nothing, like barely grow. It'll be hurt every time its roots are too wet. It'll be hurt every time it gets too much wind. It'll get hurt every time the conditions got to be right for the plant. So we looked up plant by plant, went around the yard. Now Kagan is loading up all the banana plants. We have quite a collection of banana plants. These are all the ones that are large enough to go in the ground. There are still some banana plants held back, or is this all of them?
I wanted to ask what you wanted to do.
Oh, let's just go for all of them.
These little guys like this, I mean, he could probably go on the ground.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I feel like banana plants kind of help each other when you plant them together. They help break down the wind. You know, one of the things when you're looking at the fruit trees, trees with small leaves like these oak trees, or trees that have leaves like the fronds of a palm tree, they allow wind to go through them. And things with big solid leaves don't like a lot of wind. So you got to think about them being protected. And I think we have a really smart place for them. Also, banana plants are very messy. So you want them to be in an area where you can appreciate them, but not go crazy with all of the brown undergrowth. And on our property, another major thing on all of the banana plants is going to be wasp nests up underneath the leaves. Once they find their permanent place, I don't want to mess with them that much unless I'm trying to get the bananas off of them. And after they fruit, like say this plant fruits, it will die, but it will shoot up multiple plants out of the base of it. I think this is one of the ones we got from the Gulf Coast Zoo.
Everything from here, this whole section, are those more starchy, less sweet bananas from the Alabama. All right.
Wait, before we start, you guys just witnessed the very last bit of film we'll ever film with a GoPro. That's it. I'm gonna have maybe 5 GoPro cameras. I'll never use them ever again. I'm done.
They failed us too many times.
Overheating in the winter, shutting off over and over, battery failures. We're only gonna use DJI cameras. That's it. We just went to the other camera, the newer camera, and started filming with it, and it shut off, and then repairing file, and then it repaired the file, and the whole video was upside down. So we're gonna start over with a smile on our face.
Okay, so from here to here, all these nice, big, mature bananas are from our friend Rain over at Alligator Alley in
Alabama.
When
we visited over there.
These here are from Tom Holt. So these really cool variegated guys. Oh, and let me say, these from Rain are a more starchy, less sweet banana, which means that they're not going to be filled with so much sugar for the animals, which is really good.
Yeah, that's good.
These are from Tom Holt, and they're those really beautiful variegated guys. I really, really like these. And these are ones that I propagated from those, so made new ones as they make little offshoots. And then these last 2 are special ones from our friend Mark over at Garden Trail Adventures. This is a Mahoy banana and a dwarf Cavendish banana.
Now, we have some other bananas that we planted by the fence line that are not doing well.
So we're gonna
move them. If they did that period of time, bananas actually transplant very well. So we'll be able to dig them up and move them out of the area. And so we'll actually discuss one of the things, just to let you in, like for us, it's always a process of thinking, because again, I said, trees are money, time is money. We don't want to waste it. I planted all of my very favorite fruit trees are loquats. Love them. And I planted one there. It flowered, didn't fruit. Then it did fruit the following year. And we got 3 more, so excited. We planted them all in the same place. Now, I don't think that was smart, because it's doing okay there. But what if another area on our property with different soil, different drainage, different sunlight, they would do amazing. So if I'm gonna have repeats of the same plants, or if I've already invested in a plant in a certain area and it's not doing stellar, why leave it there? Why plant the next one there? We're pushing the limits of how far north you can go with some of these very tropical plants. They're not gonna like the cold. So we gotta be smart about it. All right, so we're gonna go place all the banana plants, and thank you for doing that. It's always nice for them to be very clean when they go in the ground the first time. They're banana plants. They won't be clean for long. I know at my last house, I used to trim them up and keep my bananas perfect. But not with this many acres of property. That might be just too much. Yeah, so let's get some plants in the ground. All right, so we planted the banana plants in these spaces between these plants here along the far side of our property. There's that, what is that, a Cavendish? I think so.
I think that one's the Cavendish.
This is, I don't know, it's a different type. So we really separated them by their types. They are gonna get tall and spread and really make that lush. And then we could put some other tropical plants in front of them and really make this a lush wall with our maintenance path behind all of it, so we can get to our fence and all that good stuff. We've got a little path back there, but I think that'll be good. Now on to the bigger holes we have to dig. I should also mention I had to trim a couple oak tree branches to make sure that they got enough sunlight in this area. They probably would have had too much shade if I didn't do that. It's the next morning. We have all the trees in the ground, and I'll show them to you in just a moment. Right now I have my small generator in the back of the golf cart, and I am filling up a tub of water with a pump and a hose so I can water down all the plants to get any air pockets off the roots. Also, something I need to pay attention to, the strongest cold front of the year is coming through tonight, and the breeze is going to come in with that front. It's already pretty breezy, and as you see, these are some trees that we put in maybe a year ago. We put stakes next to the tree. This tree no longer needs that stake for support, but like that really saves a small tree from getting beat up by the wind, and it allows its roots to get started well. I have a whole bunch of these stakes we'll put in the ground and give the trees a little stability, because if they move around too much on their fresh roots, they won't settle in and they're going to end up dying. So that's something we'll have to do today. And the last thing is pieces of old radiator from old truck projects. This one probably needs to be loosened. It's probably choking that tree out a little bit. But pieces of radiator hose wrapped around them will stop from, when you weed whack the small weeds along the base of the tree, from knocking the bark off the tree. If you knock off the bark, no nutrients can get up to the trunk. That's how the nutrients go up and down. You'll end up with a tree that doesn't produce fruit or kind of stalls out and doesn't do anything. And I'll show you a perfect example. Our star fruit got nicked by the lawnmower. I think it has the radiator hose there now, but didn't before. And this tree hasn't grown much since I put it in the ground. It is flowering right now, but it's kind of been just half happy. Could be its location, or it could be the fact that I knocked half the bark off of it. Just kind of stalled it out. So I got to pay attention to that water tank, because I don't know how much weight that golf cart can handle. So I'm gonna have to stop, drive it a little bit, and once I know the level, I have another tank somewhere, I just haven't located it yet. I finished watering in all the plants, and I've got Kagan here with me, and we're gonna walk around and show you some of the things that we got.
Rolina Deliciosa,
which is a soursop, which is a really spiky, I don't know if you could picture like a yellow spike ball fruit. It's a custardy, mildly sweet fruit. Very interesting. Something to me, that one's, I've honestly never tried that one, but it's such a cool looking fruit. I've always wanted to own one. So that's probably the one exception.
Barbados cherry.
Barbados cherry, which everyone says is really good. It started, this one we've had for a little bit, and it started doing bad in the shaded area. So I think this one in the sun is going to go crazy and do really well. These are smaller trees, a mulberry, and I'm going to say it wrong, but a Java tacoba. It actually has its fruit growing from the trunk of that tree. I've had that since I moved in-ish. We did get a second one of those, but we haven't decided a place. That's the only new tree that we didn't find a place for yet. Now,
Lemon drop
mangosteen. Now, interesting about this plant, Kagan turned me on to this travel show, Somebody Feed Phil. Guy's a character, makes all sorts of funny faces. And on his travels through, I guess, most of first season, that was the one fruit that he said was his absolute favorite fruit that he's ever tried. I have not eaten a mangosteen before, but this is behind the cages. If you guys remember, these rocks are going to be even with that doorway, come out another 4 feet and go across here. So, and we want to be able to summer all the driveway cages out here on the rocks. So these trees, these smaller trees, will give them a little bit of, I don't want to say shade, but security slash shade. June plum.
June plum.
That's one I'm very excited, and already flowering.
And starfruit.
Starfruit. So that tree that I showed you guys that I nicked with the lawnmower that wasn't doing amazing. This is a different variety of starfruit. It has a much larger leaf. Maybe between the two of them, we'll get some good starfruit. And the roosters are crowing. All right, so our bigger trees are over here on this line. Lychee trees get amazing. And I need to do my research because there is one lychee that is red and is like a firecracker with all these little fuzzy appendages off of it. And there's another one that's smoother. I'm not sure which one I have. I should do the research. Both of them taste delicious, so I love lychees.
Jackfruit.
Jackfruit. Kagan is super excited about this one. I had one of these at the other property that was well started, I think 2 or 3 years in the ground. I was probably very close to getting fruit, so I was upset about losing that tree. Very cool. And yeah, the rooster will not stop.
No, he won't.
So, was that 8? 8 new ones? That's what we promised. Unless we forgot one. Oh, we did forget one. All right, guys. So, you're going to see...
Oh.
When Kagan was digging some of these into the ground last night, the area I wanted to put this needed to be wind protected from some other trees because it has a large leaf. And the best place was close to the tortoise area. And as you know, we're going to have to remove some trees from that area. And I got the chainsaw out and I got started. I removed an oak tree. And I kind of got a little ambitious and removed 2 of the cedars, starting that area. But we got to do a whole video series on that. So I started feeling bad about cutting the stuff down before we even started the video. But so I peeled back, kind of chopped them up into smaller pieces. So here is the oak tree. It was a smaller one, and it's in the edge of the enclosure area, but this area look at the leaves. If you guys look up a breadfruit, the trees they're beautiful trees. I've always loved seeing them in Costa Rica. Can't wait to have this as a large tree, and their fruit is beautiful. And this will be a good area for it. I think the end of the tortoise area is right there. So it's going to be just to the outside of the tortoise area. And, you know, there's other trees that have to be removed and boxed off. And but this is the beginning of the cedars. The next thing, as you guys see, we see a lot more of the neighbor's house. We've got to do something with that fence line. And that needs to be started soon. But that will be its own video. And I think also in there, we have another 1 or 2 passion fruit vines. This one's starting to do great. It is really climbing this tree. I need to remove 50% of those branches so they can really get sun. This vine will do amazing in here, and the fruit is stinking delicious. So I need to do that before the vines entangle too many branches that I actually want to get out of there. So I need to hurry up and do that. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to clean that tree out. And then let's walk back up to the front. All right, guys, we're gonna finish the video out on the dock, and I see 2 young koi right there, 2 of the smaller ones, and our old large orange one is underneath that weed mat. And this morning I've seen the group, they're all staying together, which is really cool. They've been working the shoreline, spending a lot of time in that corner. We went into the corner where they are. They are all, you can see one pop out there. They're all under this weed mat here. The whole big school of them. We keep seeing them come out and back under and out, and some swam back over to the dock. It looks like, and I didn't get a count. If you guys get a count through the pictures, how many exactly? I think it's about 18. The nice couple that contacted us, Annie and Kel, we want to sincerely thank you guys. These fish were Annie's grandpa's fish, and
they meant a lot to him.
They meant a lot to him.
It was clearly a labor
Without
of
saying
love.
anymore, he loved his fish, and they wanted his fish to go somewhere where they would live a good life, and we love them. We absolutely love them. I love walking out to the dock and seeing them. It's so cool. Now there's finally enough in here, not to monopolize the pond, but you always see 2 or 4 or a whole group moving by, and it's just wonderful to see. And they seem happy, and they all made it here safely. So thank you guys. We've offered them up a tour to come to the property and see them firsthand, where they're living and everything, as well as seeing the other animals. They keep reptiles, and it'd be really nice to spend a couple hours with them over here, showing them around. I said I was going to stake the trees and put the little protector along the base, but we are really nervous about tonight. So we're actually, most of the trees I noticed when I went back and watered them came with the stakes already. So they all seem sturdy enough. I need to get started on the enclosures, making sure everything is 100% for tonight, and as well as the reptile room. I'm in the middle of that insulation project, and you guys remember that we added that vent fan to pull the heat out during the summer. I need to find a way to not let the heat escape through it now in the winter, and why not do it 4 hours before I need it done? Like, what? Oh gosh. So we need to get started on that. And I realized I knew I had some sheet styrofoam that I could use for that project. Kagan's been using it in her terrarium builds. So gotta go find some styrofoam to build an insulated box around that fan. So lots to do. Oh, one of them just breached there, real big. So cool. There you go.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, hype, and ring that notification bell. We'll see you soon.